Facebook group explaining why it is that Planet X is always seen close into the sun. We had a new view of Planet X. I got this off of Pole Shift Ning. Here you can see the little lump on the side there, the classic angle, classic location. These are lens flares here. So as you can see, again, it's showing up close into the sun. So I want to explain why it is that Planet X does this. Let's start with an overview of the orbit of Planet X. Now, this is wrong. Nibiru, or Planet X, does not orbit in an elliptical fashion. So this is a fallacy. It orbits like this. We'll start here at 2002 when it entered our solar system. Creeped around the sun. Now I'm using Zeta Talk as a backup. I always use Zeta Talk Science as a backup. And of course, this is done in 2013. You can see here, Planet X has been creeping through the solar system since 2003. And so what happens is when Planet X is finally released from its from the ecliptic zone, where there's a great deal of energy flows happening there, it quickly goes past Earth, causes a magnetic lock-on to Earth, and passes by quite quickly, and Earth follows at the crust, and then lets go, and then the crust is at a different location, but the oceans keep going, which is why you have the pole shift wave danger, which is why you have to be on it's safe from the sea. But that's another video report. So Planet X carries on out into space, and it comes back. They say, I think it's 7 years later. On the light blue line is a return path, and it goes around the other side of the sun, and then it whips out. It goes back to the sun's binary twin, which is here. It's a dark star, a dead sun. 68 trillion miles, and obviously it goes around it like so, and then it starts the cycle over again on the incoming in the blue. In the center area here is a gravity balance between the sun and its binary twin. So Planet X slows down dramatically here and may spend maybe 500,000 years dithering here, moving very slowly. And it's only until it gets close to one of its gravity foci, such as our sun or the binary twin, it speeds up. It goes very fast. I remember reading in Zeta Talk that it approaches the speed of light. So that's the orbit, and they call it a sling orbit. Now let's look at what Planet X is up against in our solar system. Now this is obviously only what I'm aware of and what I've read. Now we're going to move over to here, and we're going to switch gears here. This is a profile of the Sun, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto. So basically, this right here, this arc, is the outer edge of our solar system, defined by the Sun's extent of solar wind reach. It stops here, and then outside of this you have the interstellar space, which is a whole other ball game. So we're in the bubble here, this big bubble. Now this distance here is about 9.3 billion miles. As an example, how big that is, Pioneer 2 was launched in 1979. Pardon me, 1977, and it traveled at 55,000 kilometers an hour, and it took over 38 years at that speed to clear the sun's heliosphere, or the bubble. So that's how big it is. Now, here we have another representation of what I'm saying. This is the heliosphere here. So the sun is emitting massive particles called solar wind, or cosmic radiation, cosmic wind, and it blows it out to its extent, to the farthest extent it can. Now what happens is this entire mass of area here is full of atomic particles and circulating. And near the sun, they recirculate. Now there's another one. There's another. You can see here more of the inner disturbance of the solar system. This is the magnetic field of the sun as it rotates, blowing out these waves. So there's a great deal of forces, atomic particles, all happening in this great big heliosphere around the sun. So when Planet X enters the solar system, it's got to fight through all that cosmic wind activity. Now that's the only. There's probably many other things happening, many other atomic particles. The Zeta say there are, I think they said there's 1,001 atomic particles, and man is only aware of like 30 or 50 or 100 or something like that. So there's many more particles involved. So here is Planet X creeping through the inner solar system, fighting the massive flows on the ecliptic. Now the ecliptic, to go back to this one here, you see the disks of the orbital plane of all the different planets. This disk, that's commonly referred to as the ecliptic. So Planet X is fighting its way through that. Now I want to go to another one of my drawings. Let me find it here. This one. Okay, so this is Planet X, that's the Sun. This is Earth, this is Venus, and this is Earth's dead twin. This light circle here is called what the Zeta cup. The Zetas call the cup, and that's formed by a very simple principle. When you've got a blockage in a flow, the flow moves around the blockage and creates a back eddy behind it, and that's what's happening. Only instead of water or whatever or air, it happens to be cosmic particles, atomic particles from the sun, blown out from the sun. So Earth is caught in this cup with the other two planets. This also means that Earth is stopped in orbit. Now that's another discussion, of course, but we wouldn't be seeing Earth's dead twin to the west if it weren't stopped in orbit. That's all I'm going to say right now. I can argue this and prove it. I already have actually a drawing made up, which will come out in my next newsletter, which pretty much nails it to the wall to anybody who wants to figure it out with me. If you read it and look at at my graphic, it's quite extensively detailed, but you will see that it proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that the Earth is indeed stopped in orbit. Anyways, here it is in the cup, standing in front of Planet X. Now, that means that as Planet X advances in a clockwise movement through around the Sun, clockwise, against Earth and the rest of the planets anti-clockwise movement around the Sun, naturally on December 25th, 2003, Earth encountered Planet X moving from the opposite direction, popping up from the solar system south, and into the orbital plane. So Earth had no choice but to stop. So ever since then, as Planet X has been creeping in its clockwise motion through the inner solar system, Earth and all the other planets in this cup have been pushed back. So what that means is that the Earth and Planet X are in a lockstep, and that means that when Planet X advances a mile, Earth retreats a mile. Planet X advances for a few weeks, for 20 miles, Earth in the same period of time backs up the 20 miles. So they're locked into this while Planet X advances, is pushing them back. Also keep in mind that since the Planet X and the planets in the particle flow cup are one unit. They're one unit. They're moving together. So the only other player in this drama is the Sun, and it's really an access point. So you've got Planet X, Earth, Earth's dead twin, and Venus all sitting on a swing together, and the axis and the swing is hung from the Sun. So the Sun only is a backdrop to the drama between Earth and Planet X. So this is why Planet X is always viewed close into the Sun, because of the angle that has been established between Planet X and Earth and the Sun. And that angle has remained more or less the same. Which is why we have sightings like this here that I referred to earlier. This is a constant. You always see Planet X here. And the reason for that is because we are locked in lockstep with Planet X, and the Sun is just an access point. So that angle doesn't change very much. The only thing that's going to change is when Planet X speeds up and it achieves a much higher velocity as it leaves our solar system, and that's pole shift.
The first thing that I want you to notice is this is our little orb with the dots on it. I think this is the way it's really moving in the sky. Watch what happens next. Are you seeing this with me? Unbelievable footage caught from Pompano Beach. Next, we want to move to the photographs for the day, and I just don't want to delay anything and just jump right in. These are all photos taken from today. This is just an interesting view. We know that we're getting lens flares, but relative to that photo that we just saw, where we saw the actual ball and the what I think is the star, both moving in synchronous type movement with the Sun. Then we've got this shocking photograph from the webcams. I'm having a hard time talking, man. I mean, this is some unbelievable stuff. This is one of the webcams in Germany, and from today, and we actually have a picture of the red dot and the other object that we've been talking about. Crazy. I'll put the link in for you to go look at that website. This is from viewers are getting better and better footage. This actually shows that little red orb shown as a hexagon whenever we look at it from the space station. But also look, they caught the object that is the big orb and the little orb object. Unbelievable from today. This is clouds from the UK showing the red, either iron oxide, and some people are postulating phosphorus might be part of that mix. Now here's the red halos that I was talking about. This actually, I caught a picture from my backyard today as well. Oh my gosh, look who's hiding behind the halo. Unbelievable shot from today. Another one from today. That is a lens flare. I'm convinced of that. But there again, there's that red halo. Now, you'd think if there was a halo around the sun, wouldn't it be brighter on the inside of the halo? Just a thought. Again, this is light being obfuscated from the Earth from some kind of a red cloud made of either phosphorus or iron oxide. Now, what we got here is a lens flare that actually refracts the object. What's interesting about it is we're getting the double dot refractions lately. I don't know what that's all about. Again, just more interesting phenomenon showing up on cameras around the world. And again, sometimes the halo shows up as that red color, and sometimes it almost appears to be like a rainbow color halo. And again, we have coined a new term on WSO. I call these chem dogs. Now, this is photography that I'm going to actually take you through an in-depth study in honor of my friend Roy, who did a ton of work on it, and I owe it to him to show you guys this stuff. But we're actually seeing the red object now from the all sky cams. I'm going to get into a deep study with you in a minute. But France is the place that we were seeing this phenomenon very clearly today, and I have a much more in-depth study of it to show you here in a moment. But look at this shocking footage from today, or actually, I'm sorry, from March 2nd that we got from France. This is from a subscriber, in Denmark that was talking about her experience and dream. Go ahead and just stop it and read it. It's interesting. I just want to show you that I'm getting this stuff from all over the world. Again, there's the red halo again. It's around the sun today. This is from California, I believe. We're getting these from all over the United States and all over the world now, so this is a common view, this halo, and if you look up in the sun, you probably can see it. This is just one of my subs that's helping me with chemicals research and testing of the recent moisture in the soil and things like that to see if we can see what's in the chemtrails. Another German photograph from one of their webcams. Familiar shape. Huntsville, awesome lady, man. She sent me a really encouraging letter. That's why I say awesome lady letter. But she's from Huntsville, and she showed a chem dog, but you can see the chem dog is so bright and orange. I'm wondering if they aren't hiding that, trying to hide that that strange thing we saw in the beginning. Look at this. Okay, so these are a series of photographs that I got from a subscriber that's been helping me out that also has a web channel. I'm going to talk to him about helping him promote it, but he got a lot of interesting photographs from around the world. A couple other more ones that we're going to see in a second. This is from 2/9/16, February, and just, people sending me their old Skycams. It's people starting to get more confident about sending me stuff. A strange sun effect. This is a if you look, this is I think this is from Alaska. Thank you. It's just a close-up of the Alaska Skycam, and then somebody did a study on it and actually saw a triangular strange artifact on it and shared it with me. This is from Texas today. There's our orb that we saw in the beginning shot that then either was refracting, reflecting, or somehow in a synchronous orbit with the sun and another star. This one is convincing to me in the sense that this photo from the UK, sometimes when I see the circles in the, like this, it is the sun just poking through a circular shape in the cloud. That's why I don't show a lot of your photographs when you send this to me. What's interesting to me about this one is that you can see two distinct orbs in that shot, and then in this case we actually caught this and this. Now certainly this could be causing the light over this way. Just interesting in the UK. There it is, man. And again, this shows the same phenomenon that I was just showing from Pompano Beach, but we didn't. This I think that other orb. I think this is a star. Again, the red halo today. This one's from Southern California, Alberta, Canada, Paris, Hawaii. Check that out, man. This is recent Vikings, all credits to the History Channel, but they were filming in Ireland this year, accidentally caught what we've been observing on a recent show, Vikings. Saudi Arabia, what's the east of Saudi Arabia? I don't know. What is that? Unbelievable stuff, guys, happening in the earth. Okay, so those are the photos. Now I'm going to take you to the land of Roy, because he did one workup that I have never seen on the All Sky Cams. That is one of the all-time greatest workups I've seen. So let's get started in it. Okay, this is from my friend Roy. Again, I'm keeping his identity secret at his request. But this is the iCam or SkyCam, All SkyCam workup that he did from around the world, starting with France, where he caught the object. And you can stop it on any of these images. I'm just going to walk through them very quickly and then stop the video for your later study. This is from Warrensburg. This is from Parc National Dumont. All from the 5th. King's Observatory, Georgia. Very clear yesterday. TAF Observatory in Norway. Turkey. Texas, Chile, stop on any one of these if you want to look at them closer. Roy, I just got to thank you for your work that you did on this. This is unbelievable. The best study I've ever seen on the All SkyCam network. That was given to me by Roy, my friend and brother in the Lord. So in other words, it's getting so close that we can start to blow up these images and look at it from all these different locations around the world. Stop it on anyone if you have any questions. He also explains to us the refractions that we're seeing. You guys catching all this? I'll blow this one up a little bit so you can see it better. This one is unbelievable in Turkey, where we can actually see, oh, man. So this is why I'm asking you guys just to draw close to the Lord, man. He'll come close to you. That's what the gospel is. You don't have to be afraid of him anymore. Okay? How about if I boil down the gospel for you in one sentence? You don't have to be afraid anymore.